The voice was deep, firm, and laden with a frustration that could span generations. But that night, the name Snoop Dogg meant nothing to the hotel manager. Or maybe it meant something, but not enough to open the doors. When Snoop Dogg arrived at the luxurious Hotel Bellevue, he wasn't alone. Accompanied by his team, his luggage, and his iconic tranquil smile, he expected to be welcomed as the star he was. But instead, he encountered icy silence, distrustful glances, and finally, a manager who informed him that there were no rooms available. "Are you sure?" he asked, still keeping his tone controlled. "Yes, sir," the manager replied, curt and incisive, avoiding eye contact. It was a luxury hotel known for hosting celebrities and the powerful. Even so, that night, there was no room for one of the biggest icons in music. What became clear to Snoop Dogg, however, wasn't a lack of rooms but a lack of respect. While Snoop's team discussed and suggested other places, he remained quiet, observing his surroundings. The marble walls, the chandeliers hanging like cascades of crystal, and the red carpet felt like a cruel irony. At that moment, he realized it wasn't just a matter of a non-existent reservation. It wasn't a misunderstanding, and he knew it. "You've never heard of me?" he insisted, giving the staff a chance to redeem themselves. But the manager merely shrugged. There was something in the disdainful looks of the staff that screamed louder than any words. As his team pulled him away, murmuring something about better not making a scene, Snoop Dogg gave one last glance back, his smile now replaced by a serious and calculated expression. Something inside him had shifted. "It's all right," he murmured enigmatically. "Tomorrow will be different." That moment was more than just a simple case of discrimination. For Snoop, it was like a mirror reflecting stories he knew all too well. Stories that went beyond him. It was the story of closed doors, snap judgments, of a system that, time and again, made sure to remind people like him that some things hadn't changed. But unlike many, Snoop Dogg wasn't just a man of words. He was a man of action. The following morning, as the sun rose over the city and illuminated the elegant Hotel Bellevue sign, something was about to happen. Staff cleaned the immaculate lobby, unaware that their world would soon be turned upside down. Around 11 a.m., a luxury car pulled up in front of the hotel. It was the same car from the night before. And yes, it was Snoop Dogg again, but this time, he wasn't there to ask for a room. When he stepped out of the vehicle, he was accompanied by a lawyer, a team of advisors, and a presence that seemed far larger than himself. There were no more pleas or arguments. He walked through the lobby with firm steps, the same ones that had climbed stages worldwide, now directed at the heart of the problem. The manager, who was organizing the reception, froze upon seeing him enter. He paled, attempting to force a nervous smile. "Mr. Dogg, how can I assist you?" Snoop simply raised a folded contract he held in his hand, opened it, and pointed to the signature at the bottom. "You can start packing your things, partner. This place is mine now." The room plunged into absolute silence. Staff exchanged bewildered glances, unable to believe what they were hearing. The manager stammered, trying to grasp what was happening. "Excuse me, what do you mean?" "You heard me right," Snoop said with an ironic smile. "I bought the hotel. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure no one goes through what I went through last night." The manager stood frozen, gripping the edges of the counter as if that could support him in the face of what was happening. But the reality was clear and inevitable. Snoop Dogg wasn't joking. "Is this some kind of joke?" he asked, his voice trembling. Snoop Dogg smiled, but it wasn't the friendly smile his fans knew. It was something sharper, more calculated. "Do you think I'm joking?" he replied, extending the contract once more. "You can read it here. All the signatures are there. The Bellevue has a new owner, and you better get used to it." The entire lobby seemed suspended in time. While some employees exchanged glances, others began murmuring nervously, trying to imagine what would happen next. Snoop Dogg, on the other hand, was in absolute control of the situation. He walked to the center of the hall, looked around, and spoke in a tone that left no room for doubt. "From today onward, This place will no longer be a symbol of exclusion. It will be a space of inclusion, a place where anyone, no matter their color, origin, or social class, will be treated with respect. He then turned directly to the manager, who was still pale. And you? I hope you enjoy your new career opportunity. Somewhere else. The manager tried to respond, but Snoop Dogg was already walking away, climbing the stairs as if he were the king reclaiming his throne. In the days that followed, the changes were swift and impactful. The name Hotel Bellevue was replaced with a new one, the Doggies Inn. And with it came a complete overhaul, not just of the facilities but of the place's philosophy. Walls once decorated with monochromatic landscapes were replaced with vibrant urban art galleries celebrating cultural diversity. The old dining hall, once reserved for the elite, transformed into a community space with live music, workshops, and events open to everyone. Snoop made a point of hiring a new staff that reflected the inclusion he wanted to promote. Youth from underserved communities were trained to work at the hotel, while local artists were invited to decorate the rooms with unique works. But the most significant impact lay in the stories that began to circulate. Visitors reported how welcomed and valued they felt at the new hotel. Ordinary tourists, who previously might not have felt comfortable at the Bellevue, now found an accessible and welcoming space.